It's Bedroom Talk with Dwayne and Becky, and we've been talking about the propositions. So we're going to need to speed up on these things because there's 17 altogether, and we have 14 days from today, Tuesday, before the election. So tonight is Proposition 52, and it reads Medi-cal Hospital Fee Program Initiative Constitutional Amendment and Statute. So, dear.
Here we go. Uh, these things are always complicated and convoluted. Uh, History on this: there's a federal program, Medicare, California, or Medi-cal is the California version of that. The way it works is there's a 50-50 match. The state has to come up with half the money. The federal government comes up with the other half. California has chosen over the past number of years to fund that through fees charged to hospitals. So currently, the way it works, if I have the numbers right, is there's hospital fees that amount to $4.6 billion. The state government, out of the general funds, kicks in another $0.9 billion. The and the federal government matches that, and we come up with 8.1 billion. I don't know if those numbers add up, but that's what it says on here. And then that provides for fees that go to Medi-cal and are paid out for services out of the hospitals, and the hospitals make their money back plus some, I guess. In general, the hospitals are for it. All the unions are for it. And what this does is most of these laws are passed with a sunset clause. After so many years, they go away, and then the legislature has to revisit them, making sure they take a fresh look at it and pass it again. This has been passed a few times, and it'll be coming up to be reconsidered again. This proposition takes it out of the hands of the legislature and puts it into the Constitution and makes it a permanent thing that they'll continue funding it this way. It'll be indexed, so it'll go up incrementally as inflation goes up or whatever goes up. I'm not sure what the indexing mechanism is. A lot of people are for it. I see some problems with it. One is it takes and puts it into the Constitution. And personally, we have a really long state constitution because everybody likes to put things into it. Because if it goes into the Constitution, it doesn't get things don't get passed by a simple majority. It has to go back to the proposition system or go to a public vote to be able to change it and amend the Constitution, or it has to get a 2/3 vote in the legislature. So once it's in, it's much, much more difficult to change. So people want this to stay. They go, let's make it a constitutional amendment. And then it's more than an act of Congress to change.
Right.
Um, there's no reason it needs to be that difficult to change. So I have a few problems. One is it takes something that is right now changing a lot. We have Obamacare that's recently come in and is being adjusted, and things are changing, and more people are joining it or leaving it or whatever. And so the conditions may change, and why put it in the Constitution, make it permanent? The We also have one candidate that says if he's elected that we're going to get rid of Obamacare and change these things. These are for people that don't have insurance or they buy Medi-cal insurance through the state. It's part of Obamacare. It's a branch of Obamacare. So, anyways, things are in flux, and I'm not sure that making a permanent decision is the right solution to it. You need to be aware that they say, oh, it's going to save them $1 billion out of the general fund. Yes, because it's not a tax, even though it is.
Hmm.
is what I call a non-tax tax because the you pass it, it's paid for fees. The public pays for it, but it's not shown as a tax.
Hmm.
And so we're funding Medicare or Medi-cal through fees, and public services ought to be funded through taxes, in my opinion, not through.
But the fees are being acquired through the hospitals.
Right. So you'd say, oh, the people that are using it are paying for it. It's good, but that's not true because, well, I guess it is. But your insurance premiums go up because if you go to the hospital, you're going to be paying those fees. So whether you use it or not, you pay for it. Uh, and it's removing it from the general fund. This is taking a long time, but it's removing it from the general fund because and so it's not subject to another amendment we have that our Constitution says you have to have a balanced budget, so that if you can't balance the budget, automatic cuts go into place, and you start cutting things across the board for all the programs in the government to try and make it fair. We have our annual freeze in government because they can't decide, and oh, the government's shutting down. That's what's causing it, because automatic cuts go into place. This is not in that. That way, they don't get their cuts when everybody else does. So I'm recommending a no vote on 52. Let the legislature decide. Even though I think they're a bunch of idiots, I think we have to trust them on these things. It's their job,
Yeah, it's what we
uh,
pay them for, our tax dollars.
and they can they can decide this issue, and they have more of the details than we do. So that's my opinion. We'd like to hear yours. See you next time.